but it's not too technical. It's just how the flows work internally, right? And I'm showing this to also show that RAG is actually not as easy as it seems to do when you build it yourself. Jeff mentioned this a little bit. So you have two flows. You have the blue flow, which is essentially ingest. So you take the data from wherever it is in the source data, and you ingest it into Vectara. And then we take care of the steps that if you build yourself, you have to do on your own. So there's something about extracting text from a PDF, for example, chunking, calling in what's called an embedding model to create a vector embedding for that piece of text, and then putting it into something that's called a vector database. You probably heard about this. And then when you run a query, you essentially get the query in. It also gets vectorized or kind of encoded through the embedding model. And then you run it against the vector database to get the most relevant facts. And I'm missing a couple of details here because there's other things called hybrid search and other retrieval. But just to simplify the slide, think of it as just running against the vector database. You then re-rank the results also to get even better relevance, or sometimes some custom re-ranking. You craft a prompt that essentially says, hey, LLM, here is the question, here's the context I provided, the top relevant facts. Please generate a response. And then, actually, this is something pretty unique to us. We also added some evaluation metric here, which is called HHEM, and I'll show you that later on. It's a hallucination evaluation model. It's something that looks at this response generated by the LLM and says, is this really hallucinating based on the facts that I just retrieved, based on what it's supposed to be grounded on? And it gives you a score whether it is or not. I'll show you how that's useful. And after that, you send the response back to the user, and they see it on the UI, and they're happy with that. I think there was a question about, do you mind if we take the questions at the end, or you want to do?
The overlap between the enterprise data store and the data that LLM was trained on.
And between the enterprise data, so the enterprise data store, you take this and you ingest it into the system. Now, again, this system could be on your VPC, it could be on-prem, so it doesn't have to go anywhere. But you choose, as a developer building a RAG system with this, which data you want to go into to do this.
Hopefully this is still on. To answer your question, so we're not training the LLM on your data. As a matter of fact, we want to avoid that because we want an LLM that's specialized within our entire system to be giving you accurate responses. And so the idea is, since you're sourcing your data at runtime effectively for the RAG solution, we're going to be able to give you answers coming from your data, but not trained on your data. Yeah. So we can get into the finer details of do you want to do fine tuning or not, but we think you don't need to with this approach.
There's no training involved here, which is actually a big advantage. So